Hello, and welcome to Behind the Mic Radio. I am your host, Dawn Mack, and it's so good to have you with us tonight. We want to say hello and a huge welcome to all the listeners out there, and if you're brand new to our program, welcome aboard. And tonight's show, we have got a real treat. Our guest this evening is an actress who stars as Lauren Treacy on the ABC Family hit television drama, Secret Life of the American Teenager. She is no stranger to acting, as she has been cast in numerous television shows, including playing the role of Vanessa, Nessa Thomkins, on the hugely successful Fox television series, The Bernie Mac Show. And without further ado, tonight we welcome Camille Winbush. Hello, Camille.
Hi, how are you?
I am great, and I just want to tell the audience, if you'd like to call in and speak with Camille, our number is 347-945-6965. Well, thank you so very much for being here, and it is a pleasure having you and an honor as well. We appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Now, I want to kind of start off by asking you, when did you first realize you wanted to be an actress?
Well, I actually never had that thought. I was discovered, as they say, when I was 2 years old. I was sitting in the audience. Yeah, I was in the audience of my cousin's talent show, and my former manager saw me, and they thought I was a cute little girl, and they signed me, and I've just been working ever since. So it was something that happened by chance.
Wow, that is amazing, because, you know, there's no question that can be asked to say what drew you to acting, because acting kind of drew itself to you, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, my parents never said, like, oh, I want to put my daughter in acting, and they just figured, well, we'll give it a shot and see what happens, and I've just been fortunate enough to have been working steadily for the past almost 20 years.
Yes, and congratulations to you for that. That is quite a career to have started at such a young age, and it has continued on. And it seems like everything that you appear in and you star in, it just gets better and better and better as time goes on. So I want to talk to you then about some of your early acting experiences. What were some of the things that you did at an early age that kind of led you to where you are today?
One of my first movies I ever did was called Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I remember when I met him, I'm, 3 feet tall, so I thought he was the biggest guy in the world, and I was kind of afraid of him. And he turned out to be really nice, so that was one of my first working memories. And then I went on to do Ghost Dog with Forrest Whitaker, and that was really cool because I got to live in New York for 2 months. And then I was in Seventh Heaven for a few episodes, and a fun fact, actually, the creator of Seventh Heaven also created The Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Well, and we know how successful Seventh Heaven was, and
yes,
it was a great show, just as great, and that is interesting. I don't think I realized that, but I used to I wouldn't miss an episode of that show either. So it's now we know.
Yeah,
it all makes sense now. Well, now. What I want to know is, you've been in so many different things and movies and you've been, in television. And one of the roles that I want to talk to you about a little bit is your role of Nessa Thomkins on The Bernie Mac Show. How did that role evolve for you?
Well, I auditioned for the role when I was 11 years old. I had just turned 11, and the role was asking for a 13-year-old. So I already had that against me, but I went into the audition, and there was at least 100 girls auditioning, probably more. And each audition, it got dwindled down to fewer and fewer girls. And then I finally got to meet Bernie in one of the final auditions, and we did the scene together, and we just connected. We clicked right away, and that pretty much sealed the deal.
Oh, my gosh. I know. And I remember watching that show. I was an avid fan of that show, and I loved you on that show. You cracked me up. I mean, you were always quick and on the money. I mean, with telling the castmates, how it was. I mean, your character was hilarious, and you played it so very well. And
thank you.
But, Bernie Mac, there was just something so magical about how he had that way anyway. But on that show, it was just so funny how everybody kind of fed off each other, and it just worked, And and that's what made it the hit, because it was just hysterical at times, and the way the kid, all of you kids, you did your thing and you did it so well, and you played the storylines to the hilt. So I always enjoyed that show. I would find myself laughing every episode, and I mean, it was just that great, and so and so when you have a show like that and then it goes off air, it's kind of like there's a void for a while, because especially when you get used to watching something that you enjoy so much, and of course with the loss of Bernie Mac, that was a double blow, I think, the loss of the show and then the loss of Bernie. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Bernie Mac, because, he was so well revered in the industry and loved, for what he did and as a human being. And what do you remember most about him?
Oh, man, there's so many things. Well, first of all, he was so humble and so down to earth that he made you feel comfortable. No matter who you were or where you were, he treated you like family. And one thing that a lot of people have mentioned who got to visit the set or worked on the show, they always said that whenever you came to the set to visit, he would make sure you ate well. He was, every time for lunch, he would provide this big catering setup and invite all the cast and the crew up to his dressing room to eat. And it really helped us bond as castmates and kind of like a second family. But he taught me so much about acting and comedy, and he really helped me expand my humor. He always told us, if you think of something that you think might be funny, or if you want to change something, just let me know and try it out, because there's no harm in trying, and if it doesn't work, then that's fine, but at least you tried.
Mhm. And that was one of the things, with you saying that's one of the things that I always found so interesting about the Bernie Mac show, because a lot of it, a lot of television, you can clearly tell it's scripted. But with the Bernie Mac show, there just seemed to be a natural flow of events. I mean, naturally there were scripts and, there were plots for the episodes. But the way you guys carried out your role, I thought was brilliant, because a lot of times it looked like there were moments when it was maybe coming off the hip and it just worked, And that's very much how I felt like Bernie was as an actor in that show, because, when you're dealing with kids, first of all, you don't ever know what's going to happen. And even if you have a script, I mean, I think sometimes when you can ad-lib and you can add your own special spark to it, it just makes it that much better. And I think that was the secret to the Bernie Mac show, and I think that's why people loved it so much, because the way it was presented was in such an identifiable way, where it had people just laughing and going, gosh, I've been there before. So you were amazing. You were amazing in that, and I know that is something that you will cherish the rest of your life, just to know that you had that opportunity to work with someone, so great. He was a wonderful human being, and I always loved seeing him, no matter what he was doing, whether it's stand up or doing that show or just whatever. The huge talent. And that brings me to, the question. You've worked with so many industry greats. Bernie Mac is no exception. Who would you love to work with if given the opportunity?
I think my first choice would be Denzel Washington and Meryl Streep. I would love to go toe-to-toe with them, in a scene. That would be the ultimate acting prize, if you will.
And, I wouldn't discount it. I wouldn't count you out. I could very easily see you being in a scene in a movie with either one of them. Wow, that would be great. And I hope that you get that opportunity. I really do.
Thank you.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying thank you for your vote of confidence.
Very, very welcome. Well, I've watched you for a while, and I absolutely love you as an actress because everything I've ever seen you do, you make it always seem so believable. And I think sometimes, when you're acting, that's a hard thing to do, to try to make that connection with the audience. But I've never, it's never failed for me when I've watched you on screen. You do that. And whether it be in a movie or whether it be, in a television series or whatever it is you're in, I mean, that is just the magic quality that you have, I think, as an actress. At least that's what I perceive, and I think a lot of people see that too. And now I want to talk about Secret Life of the American Teenager, which is what you currently star in. And, I've got so much I want to talk to you about, and we only have such a little window of time. But I really want to start by asking you, how did you land the role of Lauren Treacy?
Well, the creator of Seventh Heaven created this new show, and she actually remembered me from Seventh Heaven way back when. I was only about 7 years old when I did that. And she remembered me, and she asked if I would like to be a part of her new project. And just took off from there. And I think we knew that the show was going to be popular, but I don't think we had any idea of what an impact it would have on teens and adults.
Mhm. And what a huge compliment for her to remember you. Obviously, you made a statement, and left an impression on her, when you appeared on Seventh Heaven. And I'm so glad they cast you, because one thing I've always loved about your character on Secret Life is, Lauren, to me, has always been that moral compass on the show. While everybody else is sleeping around and debating who they're going to, what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, you're the one that's, that's staying true to your morals, And I've always loved that relationship between, Lauren and Madison, because Madison kind of wants to go off to the left, and Lauren has to kind of grab her and pull her back, and make her see the whole picture. And so I've always loved that about you, because, again, it's another believable thing, because I think everyone that's ever had a best friend has had that best friend in their lives that could say, that really tells them how it is, that makes them think about the hard choices when they don't want to, or they refuse to see it, and that's kind of the role that the character that I see Lauren being. So talk a little bit about your character and some of her complexities, because I know she had some, even though she seemed so morally right. But, but talk a little bit about how she was, because, I mean, she like all the characters of the show, really evolved as the years unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, she started out kind of being a know-it-all, and, whatever she thinks is the right choice, and she's going to tell everybody what they should do. But I think as she grew up and went through her own problems and her own relationships, I think she was more realistic in her views. And I think her relationship with Madison evolved also. They started out best friends, young girls, and then they kind of grew apart for a while, and they had boyfriends and, different groups of friends, but then they always come back together because they are so close. And Lauren is a blast to play. She is somewhat like me. My friends always come to me for advice, but the difference is I know when to shut my mouth, and Lauren doesn't always do that.
No, because, Lauren she does very much speak her mind, and she tells it like it is, whether you like it or not. And it is funny that you mentioned that, because as she evolved, she was kind of, as a matter of fact, in the very beginning, and then she kind of transformed. And I think the beauty of that was that the writers did that, and it made, as with all the cast characters, but it really showed how, you all kind of matured with age over the series. And so I guess with age, that would happen naturally anyway. But yeah, I mean, I love that relationship between Lauren and Madison because that's real life. I mean, that is what happens. People become best friends and they grow apart, or they may be led in different directions for whatever reason. And then, true best friends always find their way back, and I mean, they can not see each other or talk to each other for a period of time, and when they get back together, it's like they've never missed a beat. And so that kind of was always the way Lauren and Madison were, But I always thought Madison was kind of, she was kind of a whiner. She kind of whined about things, but Lauren just always had that way of just making her see the picture for what it was,
Yeah.
Even setting her straight on the wrong guys,
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the two of them balanced each other out. Madison was more on the whimsical, fun side, and Lauren was more, she was more like the parent in the situation. So I think the two of them evened each other out in personality.
Well, if Lauren were a real-life person, would you be friends with her?
I don't think I would have been friends with her in the beginning, but now I would, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what characteristic of Lauren's character do you think mirrors you the most?
Probably her practical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to weigh out all my options before I make a decision, and I think Lauren does the same thing. So probably that, and just her value of relationships and friendship.
Mhm. And I think, of all the characters on Secret Life, I think Lauren is the one that tends to value it the most because, and maybe it has to do with her moralistic mindset, and her practical thinking mindset, but she tends to really value that, and she's not willing to do anything that's going to mess it up, or hurt the person that she's in a relationship with, whether it be a guy or Madison or whoever it is. I mean, she really does embrace that and treat it for what it is, and that's commendable because, in this day and time, it's a very, very hard thing to find sometimes, but and I think that's a great quality to her character. What do you have a favorite scene of your character in the time that the show has been on?
I mean, I would say the most fun to film were the scenes with everyone in it, the big high school hallway scenes where we all got to come together, because we just had so much fun on set, and we would hang out and play practical jokes on each other. So those are a favorite. And then all my make-out scenes with Jessie, of course.
Well, of course, Well, now, as you know, the new season is set to premiere on March 18th, and this is somewhat of a bittersweet season as this is the final season. And for me personally, as a fan of the show, I'm sure I share the feelings of many when I say this, but I truly hate to see the show come to an end. I really do. My daughter and I, we are diehard fans, and we watch faithfully every week when it comes on. I mean, we have to find out what's going to happen next. I think it's just been a great run. And what are some of your thoughts about seeing the show come to an end?
I mean, we obviously were all sad to see it come to an end, but I hope that all the fans of the show will be happy with the way it ends. I really think that we come to some nice conclusions, and it's bittersweet, We would have loved to have it go on forever, but I think it's going to end on a good note.
And I think the viewers will love that, I think we want some happy endings for some of the characters that we think should take place, and then some endings for some characters that we think should take place, depending on what it is. But it's funny because the past 5 years, have taken a group of friends, you know, and transformed them in many ways and transformed viewers of the show in the process. How has being on the show changed you?
It's definitely made me way more thankful and grateful that I was able to be a part of such a wonderful show. And I think it's changed my views on certain things that we have dealt with on the show, you know, sex and relationships and all these different things. It's given me a different point of view that I may not have seen before.
Mhm. And what are some of your most memorable moments from the show?
I think when we did our 100th episode, Lauren and Madison did the flash mob.
Mhm.
I think that was definitely the most memorable moment for sure. I mean, we got to wear matching dresses. We had people dancing around us with Ricky heads on a stick. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Oh no, it doesn't. And I love that too. That was great. And I thought, you know, because that was kind of when the flash mob was really growing in popularity anyway in society. So I thought that was so perfect how that was written in, you know, and that happened. It was great. I mean, and I'm like you. I love all the scenes where you have all the characters together, you know, in the scene, in those huge group scenes. Because there always seems to be so much happening in those scenes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of great because you're getting the best of everyone at once, you know. And so in the 5 years, what has been your favorite storyline?
Oh man, there's been so many, but I think the evolution of Ben and Amy has been one of my favorites, to see how they started out and you know, where they go from there and how they're going to end. So that's been, you know, a major one.
Oh yeah, and with this being this last season, it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds with that, because that has been kind of the storyline that has driven, you know, the whole show for the 5 years. I mean, it's always been, you know, Ben or Ricky, and, you know, right now, at the end of last year, it was Ricky. And by the way, I just want you to know that when the season ended last year and Jack was in the hospital, I was bawling at the end of that episode. My daughter looks over at me and says, "Mom, it's just a TV show." I said, "But you don't understand. I love Jack." And, you know, it was just, you know, it was, so in the previews, when I saw him on there, I was just so glad that, you know, that he was still on the show and that he was just healing, and it was not that he died, because that was my first thought was, oh my gosh, what a cliffhanger. This is not good. But but anyway, yeah, I know. I have so many too. There's just too many to name, and one of the things I wanted to ask you was, who have you enjoyed working with the most?
As far as Secret Life, I love working with Renee Olstead, who plays Madison. We are actually best friends in real life.
Oh, wow.
When we were 8 years old, and we worked on a musical together. And then we just happened to be cast as best friends on Secret Life, so it was great, you know. We have all our scenes together. We share a trailer. We're joined at the hip in real life also. So that was an awesome bonus.
Well, no wonder you guys made it look so believable, because, you know, you were just doing on screen what you do in real life. So it really, probably for you guys playing best friends, really came very easily, I imagine. And that would be like a dream part for both of you. I mean, to be able to star in a series that's so hugely popular as Secret Life has been, as best friends, when you're best friends anyway. You know, I don't know too many actresses that get that opportunity and they can say, well, I had this run with my best friend for this period of time. I mean, that's almost unheard of, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's been a blast to get to work with her. every day. And, you know, it's like a 2-for-1 deal. You get to work on a fun show with your best friend.
Exactly. I know. And what do you think you will miss the most about the show?
Just being able to see everyone all the time. You know, we bonded. We had 5 seasons together, so we really became close over the years. I mean, I've been to 2 cast member weddings so far, and, you know, they're like family, so I'm going to miss being able to see everyone every day.
And I guess in a way it kind of is like graduating from high school or college because, you know, you're in school with your friends for a period of time, and then all of a sudden you get to the end of the road and it's time to say goodbye and go your separate ways. And, well, I personally would love to see you guys in about 5 to 10 years make a reunion movie for, you know, Fox or whoever picks it up, and or ABC Family or whoever, and have you guys come back together if your schedule permit and make a movie that, you know, kind of shows where you are, you know, later on. And that would be so cool. I think the fans would love that too. We're going to be waiting for that, awesome. By the way. So you're saying right here on my show that you're in if they decide to do that. I think the fans will almost demand that because this is one of those shows that's kind of iconic, and it's just a really feel-good show week in, week out, and it's one of those that's had a great run. And you know, I think, like you said earlier, that Secret Life has done so much for, you know, bringing attention to teen pregnancy and all the different things that teenagers go through in this day and time. And I know with my daughter, she will soon be 15, but when the show started, you know, we were watching it from the very beginning, and it actually allowed me to have some open dialogue with her about sex and about boys and about things that I don't know that I would have as easily been able to chat with her about, but that provided a forum to be able to do that sort of thing. And I think hopefully for a lot of parents that provided that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had parents come up to me and say thank you for talking about all of these subjects on the show because it opened up a conversation with my team and made it more comfortable for them to be able to talk openly and honestly. So I think the show definitely helped a lot of parents out as well as teens where they could feel comfortable going to their parents and talking about sex and boys and girls and all that stuff.
That's true. And the one thing that I loved about Secret Life was that, you know, the way it was presented from the very first episode was not in a taboo sort of way, like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about sex on TV with, you know, especially when it involves teenagers. But when you think about our society today, it's very relevant to our society. You know, not that that's to say it was condoning in any way to put this series out there, but I think just the opposite. I think it was out there to show, you know, parents and teens alike who may not have that communication connection where they can help everybody see that this is really what's going on in society and this is what you need to be talking about as parents and as teenagers together, you know. And so it was very eye-opening, but yet a great way to be able to transition that dialogue into something that could be meaningful and, you know, open up lines of communication for parents and their teens. You know, I know it did for my daughter and I think it made all the difference. You know.
Well, good. I'm glad that it helped.
So now that the filming of the final season has wrapped, what's next for Camille Winbush?
You know, I like to keep my options open, maybe more TV, movies. I know there's a lot of stuff that I have to look forward to, and I don't want to jinx it by talking about it yet, but
of course,
I feel like this is going to be a good year for me, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's next.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you on whether it be the big screen or my television screen in the very near future, and because you're immensely talented and you've already done so much in such a short span of time, and you had this great run with Secret Life. I mean, it's the Bernie Mac show. I mean, it's just, like I said, with every project that you've taken on, it's gotten better and better and better. And I expect to see you being out there on the screen somewhere from now on. I mean, you know, so I really, really am excited to see what's next for you.
Well, thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Before we let you go, have you got time to take a call? We've got a call.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sure. Let me see who's calling here. Hello, area code 210. You're on with Camille.
Oh, hi. My name's Cynthia. I'm from Texas.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to ask you, throughout the whole 5 years that you've been with Secret Life, what is the thing that you'll carry on forever? Like, what's the memory that you're going to hold on to?
Just mostly the memory of meeting all these amazing people that I got to work with. You know, like I was saying earlier, I've been to 2 weddings from the cast members, so we've just grown so close, and that's definitely my most memorable thing that I will take with me, is just meeting all these amazing people.
Great. I had more questions, but you had such a great interview. You got answered. All of them got answered.
But, oh, well, good. That's good.
Yes, I liked it. Well, thank you so much. Hope you have a great evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Cynthia. Take care of yourself.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, Camille, it has been such a blast having you on our show, and I don't want to hold you up because I know you're in a fun place having a great time, and we want to be able to let you continue to do that. But congratulations on such a successful series run in your role of, you know, Secret Life, and I wish you the very best moving forward and the greatest of success. So we look forward to seeing what you're going to be having coming down the pipes next and doing, and so just all the best to you.
Well, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure getting to talk with you, and I hope we can chat again soon.
I'm sure we will. As soon as we know of some new projects, and, you know, if you'd love to come back and talk, we'd love to have you anytime.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, take care of yourself. God bless, and we wish you the very best, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, what a sweet, sweet young woman. Her name Camille, and gosh, I just absolutely love her. I've always loved her in everything she's ever been in, and have especially enjoyed her on Secret Life of the American Teenager. And, you know, as I was saying, I really am going to hate seeing that series come to a close, as I know many of you who are listening are as well. It's been a great run, and it's one of those series that, you know, you really get in, you know, it's kind of like daytime drama. You really just get immersed in it and into the storylines, and week after week you follow it, and it's one of those things when you hear it's going to come to an end, you just hate it. I guess the saying goes, all good things must come to an end at some point, and but I think Secret Life of the American Teenager will go down in the history books as one of the great iconic television series of our time, and so I am very excited to see what those actors and actresses of that show will go on to do next. So it's a very exciting time for them, although I know it's bittersweet, but we do wish them all well. And we want to thank Camille Winbush for being our special guest this evening. And if you would like to follow her, she is on Twitter. She is at Camille Simoine, that's Simoine. And you can follow her on Twitter, and let her know. If you're listening tonight, let her know and wish her well, and I'm sure she'll be keeping us all updated on what her next project is going to be. And that is going to wrap our show for tonight. I will tell you that tomorrow night we have a chef that is going to be our guest starting at 7 p.m. His name is Kevin Matthews, and he is known as the Dog Chef. And the reason why he has received that title, he actually makes special gourmet meals for dogs. He loves dogs, and he has done 7 years' worth of research on the foods that and I'm talking about everyday foods you and I eat, that can be specially prepared to help dogs with various ailments, including like kidney disease and cancer. And apparently his research has shown that the food that he prepares is very beneficial to dogs, and it does help them with their ailments, and in some cases it has cured them. So it's kind of a holistic approach to feeding your pet, and he's going to be on our show talking about how he's making that available to the public now to purchase for their pets. So we're very excited to talk with him. That's tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. And so we're very, very excited to have him on. Again, we want to say thank you to Camille Winbush for being our special guest this evening. And thank everyone for being here so very much. And as I said, if you're brand new to our show, please don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you back anytime. And thanks to all. Enjoy the rest of your night and the rest of your week. And we'll be right back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Good night, all.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop's baked from scratch custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com. Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect to Behind the Mic Radio on Twitter at BT Mic Radio and on Facebook at Behind the Mic Radio. Check out our website at BehindTheMicRadio.com. Also, follow us right here on Blog Talk Radio, where you can stay up to date on all upcoming shows. Every episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.